Hi everyone, I'm Elise and welcome back to Literally Elise. So a couple months ago, I started a new series that I wanted to introduce on my channel, which is every month just introducing some of the new sci-fi releases coming out that month. I did it for the month of March and then life got busy. I haven't been back with another video in that series. I do want to change that, but I would just like to, note that while I do intend to do one of these videos every month, I work full time. I do have two kids, one of which is going into middle school next year. What? You know, this time of year is usually pretty crazy, so I can't promise that I'm going to bring one of these videos to you every single month. But if you follow Libranauts Book Club, which is my science fiction book club Bookstagram page, I have been doing a post at the beginning of the month every month over there. It basically shows the book cover and then gives a little bit of information. So if you're not finding the video here, you can always follow Libranauts Book Club over on Instagram. Today I do want to talk to you about some of the new sci-fi releases that just came out in April, May, and June. And I'm just gonna kind of go through those. Let me see. I'm not gonna read the full synopsis of each of these books, but I will show you the book cover, let you know when it came out. Okay, so keep in mind, these are not all the sci-fi books that came out in the month I'm talking about. They're just books that caught my eye, sounded interesting, and I wanted to share with you guys. So starting in April, we have the books that released April 1st, the first of which is When We Were Real by Daryl Gregory. This one is about a simulated world. There's a cross-country road trip involved, and there's a lot of different characters. So if you're interested in books that have multiple POVs, this could be one that would work for you. Next is Where the Axe is Buried by Ray Naylor. This one involves malfunctioning AI, geopolitical espionage, and many characters for this one as well. Next is a novella. This one is called One Level Down by Mary G. Thompson. This takes place in a simulated world, and it's the mind of a woman trapped in a 5-year-old's body. I have seen that one pop up a couple times. The first two I've not heard anyone talk about, but One Level Down I have seen a little bit around Bookstagram. Next is The Ephemera Collector by Stacy Nathaniel Jackson. This one takes place in a near-future Los Angeles, involves AI assistive tech, and art and museum archives. If you are into museums and art, that's the book for you. Next up are books that came out April 8th. The first is whoopsies, hello. Where'd it go? Oh my gosh. One second, technical difficulties. The first is Cold Eternity by S.A. Barnes. This is an author that I've seen multiple books by this person. So Dead Silence, Ghost Station, those are some other books that she has written. This one sounded super interesting. I mean, they all sound interesting, but this one in particular, it is a space horror. It involves cryogenically frozen rich people. And then a quote from one of the blurbs is tense, nasty, and melancholic. Next is Scales by Christopher Hines. This is a sci-fi thriller recommended for fans of Jurassic Park. And if you are a part of Libranauts Book Club, we did just read Jurassic Park back in March. So if you enjoyed that, this could be one for you to pick up. It's about a species re-engineering running amok. Again, very similar to Jurassic Park, and it's also been dubbed a creature feature. Next is The Price of Everything by John McGoran. This one is considered a John Wick-esque cyberpunk techno thriller. It involves corporate greed, and it's very action-packed. So if you are a fan of Blake Crouch, you like your books to kind of play out like an action movie, this could be a good one for you to pick up. All right, next we have one that came out April 15th. That is Vanishing World by Sayaka Murata. This takes place in a dystopian Japan where procreation practices that are the norm in our world are not the norm here. They're considered taboo. So in order to create a child, they rely on artificial insemination. And this book challenges traditional gender and relationship roles. So there's a little bit of social commentary in there as well, it sounds like. This next one that it had a published date of April 17th, and that's The Paradox by Daniel Hardcastle. This is a dark sci-fi comedy. It involves time travel and alternate dimensions and has many characters. This next one came out April 22nd, and that is 11% by Maren Uthaug. This one was translated from Danish and takes place in a dystopian women-led world where all but 11% of the male population is completely gone. And then the final published date of April 29th, we have Awakened by A.E. Osworth. This is a queer fantasy sci-fi that involves a coven of trans witches and involves evil AI. Then we have Polybius by Colin Armstrong. This is a sci-fi horror based on the urban legend about a video game created by the government for psychological warfare, and is said to be Stranger Things meets The Walking Dead. Next is Disgraced Return of the Cat's Needle by Renan Bernardo. This one is a space opera involving a return journey back to Earth after a failed mission, and there's a survival aspect. The biosphere of the ship that they're on is failing, and there's depleted oxygen levels. Definitely a survival story there. And the last one in April is The Edge of Yesterday by Rita Woods. This one's more speculative. It involves time travel with a little bit of historical fiction because some of the time travel takes place in 1925 Detroit. Now we are on to the May releases. The first one that came out May 6th is Overgrowth by Mira Grant. This one is a body horror about an alien invasion apocalypse, but interestingly this one is actually from the POV of the alien. May 13th, we had Immaculate Conception by Ling Ling Wang. This one is about toxic artist obsession, neural tech and identity merging, and it's very surreal and feminist. Then we have Awake in the Floating City by Susanna Kwan. This one takes place in a flooded San Francisco. There's a lot surrounding grief and memory in this one, and one of the main characters, 130 years old, will live quite a bit longer than they do now. And then we have The Frequency of Long Shadows by J.M. Bradley. This one is a coming-of-age literary sci-fi. It's the first in a series, so there will be more to this story, and it's very character driven. Then we have The Glass Garden by Jessica Levi. This one's a novella, and it involves archaeology, exoplanets, and abandoned colonies. Next is a short story collection by Debbie Urbanski called Portal Mania. It's a genre-busting collection of short stories that cover a variety of sci-fi topics such as portals, planetary gateways, and even monsters, so there's a little bit of fantasy aspect to it as well. And it's said to be for fans of Kelly Link and Carmen Maria Machado. Then we have one that came out May 17th, Violet Moon by Kayla Murray. This one is YA. It's set in the year 3051 and involves domes, vengeance, and time travel. Then on May 20th, we had The Memory Collectors by Deep Meserve. This, I believe, was an Aardvark book club pick for, I can't remember if it was March or June. March? I can't remember if it was May or June, but a recent month it was an Aardvark book club pick. So if you love those buttery soft Aardvark editions, that's where you can get this one. This one is for fans of Before the Coffee Gets Cold and Wrong Place, Wrong Time. It is a speculative mystery involving time travel. Next, also on May 20th, we have Heart of the Sun by Mia Sheridan. This one is actually a romance with a sci-fi twist. It's about a solar flare apocalypse. It's a second chance romance involving a pop star and a bodyguard. Next is The Midnight Project by Christy Klimenhage. It's a near future sci-fi thriller about genetic engineering and an impending apocalypse. And then the final publishing date in May was May 27th, where we had Amplitudes. This was another short story collection, features queer and trans stories. They're very speculative stories. They explore potentialities of queer and trans futures, and the writing was said to be brutally honest and raw. And then the final one in May that I want to talk about is Requiem by John Palisano. This one also kind of sounded super interesting to me. It's a cosmic horror. It involves a haunted graveyard, and it also involves music. So music resurrects a negative entity. I don't know. That just sounds really cool. On to the June books. First, we had June 3rd, Notes on Infinity by Austin Taylor. This one involves biotechnology. There's a cure for aging, and it's said to be for fans of Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Next, we have Best of All Worlds by Kenneth Apple. This one is a YA speculative horror. It involves a mysteriously relocating cabin that is also stuck under a dome. That sounds really spooky. Then we have The Two Lies of Faven Scythe by Megan O'Keefe. This one is a queer space opera. It involves cosmic graveyards, space pirates, and near-human species. The next one is Of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove. This one is a paranormal monster space opera. That sounds so cool. It involves medical AI, and a quote from the blurb says, "Queer love child of pulp horror and classic sci-fi." I do believe the synopsis mentioned Dracula. Next is Cosmic Love at the Multiverse Hair Salon by Annie Mayer. This one is a queer sci-fi romance. It involves multiverse, parallel universe. This one is a debut novel. And the final one for June 3rd is The Other Side of Now by Paige Harbison. This one I think was also an Aardvark Book Club pick. Now I need to look because I'm not 100%. Maybe it was Book of the Month. Yes. Okay, so The Other Side of Now was a Book of the Month pick. Oh, I think it was an add-on, actually. This one's a time travel romance. It involves a trip to Ireland, and it is said to be for fans of Taylor Jenkins Reid and Rebecca Searle. Next, we have some books that are coming out June 17th, first of which is The Poppy Fields by Nikki Erlich. This is the same author as The Measure. The Poppy Fields is speculative. It involves a controversial method for treating heartache and involves themes of grief and healing. And then we have Unworld by Jason Green. This one is a near future literary sci-fi. It involves AI and memory uploads. Trigger warning though for death of a child and self-harm. And the final book that I want to talk about is The Compound by Aileen Rawle. This is a literary dystopian thriller. It's a debut novel, and it is Love Island meets Lord of the Flies. Those are some of the new release sci-fi books that came out April and May and are yet to come out in June. Check those out if any of those sound interesting. As I said, I will still be talking about new release sci-fi books on my channel. I will do my very best to do monthly videos on them, but if I don't, I'll maybe combine a few months at a time like I did here. If you are looking for monthly, I have been doing that over on my Sci-Fi Book Club Instagram. Again, that is Libranauts Book Club. I have it linked down in the description below, so be sure to check that out. Thank you so much for watching. Please do remember to like and subscribe, and until next time, bye.